Hello everyone and welcome to our weather update on August 2nd, 2026. So today Sunday we have an area of low pressure trying to gradually meander in from the west. However, ahead of that for now, we have the wind just drifting in from a more easterly or southeasterly direction, and that will help temperatures start to rise again, especially across England and the south and east tomorrow. Quite a hot day before things gradually cool down and we see some rain in many areas through Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. So currently, satellite imagery, across much of England and Wales, it's dry with hazy sunshine, only some high clouds spilling in. However, some more rain-bearing cloud is trying to move in now to Ireland. Scotland for now is still ahead of the low pressure and the warm front, so quite cool. Maybe a few light showers here and there across the far north. And you can see this more general area of rain is trying to move in. A lot of it's light, and a lot of it is falling from quite high-based clouds. So not that bad of a day, to be honest. Only a few spots of rain, but that will change as we head into tomorrow. So looking at the UKV high res, you can see today it's quite cloudy in Ireland, but the rainfall should be very light and quite sporadic. Meanwhile, for England and Wales, it's largely dry with hazy sunshine. Scotland's a bit cloudier, a few light showers in the north. And that is how we stay, really, for the rest of the afternoon. Although cloud will gradually increase across England and Wales, and the sunshine will turn even milkier as the day wears on. Although the cloud should remain quite high-based overall, so quite bright for the afternoon, and temperatures, of course, in the south are rising. Now, as we go into this evening and tonight, we see the band of rain starting to reinforce itself over Western Ireland. That is a warm front that's moving in, and notice how it becomes more defined as an area of cloud, a band of clouds stretching from, say, Ireland, Northern Ireland, into Northern England. Some rain on that band. The heavier the further west you go. Further south, it starts to clear up. The high cloud moves away or decreases in quantity. And in Scotland, across northern areas, still ahead of the low. So quite cool, and a few showers are likely possible in the far north. Now, tomorrow Monday, we go into the morning, and some heavier showery bursts start to move in towards Ireland. Across England and Wales, it's largely warm and sunny key. And of course, in that warm sector, between the warm front and cold front, we'll start to generate some really quite high temperatures tomorrow. I'll run through those in a bit. Anyway, tomorrow Monday, so that warm front, marked by that area of cloud and rain, that band of cloud and rain, starts to grind to a halt across Scotland. So it'll bring a few hours of quite prolonged rainfall there. Quite useful. But would rather have that in the south, I think. In the south, we see many areas staying dry. A few pop-up showers and thundery downpours might form, but these look quite elevated, quite high-based, and not overly intense. Although I've seen some models show these showery features pushing in a hot air mass, and they end up being much more intense than the models show. But at the minute, nothing too intense looks likely across southwest England, Wales, Midlands of England, south and east of that, it stays bone dry with sunshine unbroken throughout Monday, and showers getting heavier and more thundery across Western Ireland as well. Now into the evening, again, some showers might turn more intense and thundery across Northern England. And the rain lingers over northern Scotland, so I think that is about as far north as it goes, because the low will stall and then push eastwards to clear away. And then notice what's happening here across Ireland. We see some big echoes starting to blossom here. So maybe you see some crimsons and so on across the east and Midlands there for a time overnight. Some big downpours are possible. Again, thunderstorms probably in that, I'd say. Notice I did also see some quite high Cape levels on that cold front that's coming through, you can see this area of really quite enhanced Cape-like. If we zoom in, up to and over 1,000 joules per kilogram there. So it's really, I think, quite good. That's quite good Cape for some decent storms on Monday night across much of Ireland. Look at that. On that cold front, it does start to weaken as it moves into England. But even so, Wales, Northern England, a few hundred up to 1,000 joules there of Cape. So, and that is as the area of thundery rain starts to push northwards into Northern England, Wales, Scotland. So anywhere across the west and north of the regions, anywhere north of this sort of line from Wales into the Midlands into Northern England could be seeing some torrential rain for a time, some thunder and lightning. But I think for Scotland it stays mainly on just the frontal rain side of things, just persistent steady rain, as the humid air mass and the instability doesn't really get itself that far north. Meanwhile, across the south, of course, this area of rain just misses all these areas down there. Into Tuesday, so we see that rain clearing off, some more thundery downpours across Wales and Northern Ireland, and of course some more forming in Ireland there, some big beefy showers on Tuesday afternoon in response to that strong sunshine, and of course the instability produced by that area of low pressure. Some more scattered downpours are possible across Wales, Midlands and eastern England. Cape levels on Tuesday, where are we going? There. Again, quite high across much of Ireland, over into Wales, especially North Wales, parts of Midlands, into Northern England. So this zone, like Ireland, Northern England, North Wales, a lot of Wales, seems to be the area where the most intense rainfall is likely to fall in this area of low pressure and this sort of thundery activity. Even so, some more downpours are possible across the south, but of course, unfortunately, with southern England, I think the ingredient it misses is the lifting, is that that frontal lifting that generates and that breaks the cap on the atmosphere. So it's unstable. The atmosphere has the potential to be unstable, but maybe it's just the fact that the temperature aloft in the upper atmosphere is just too high, so that the gradient between the low atmosphere, the ground, and so on, and the upper atmosphere are just too shallow, not enough gradient to cause convection, or just lifting is not enough. You need a bit of lifting from a trough, a front, or whatever it is, to just help the parcels rise. In these patterns, the south tends to lack those ingredients. I remember back in June, on 25th of June into 26th, we had that extraordinary hot spell, very humid, sultry. So a lot of, stored energy in the atmosphere. But, the really big explosive convection was limited to Northern Ireland and Donegal, Mayo, Galway, Sligo area, and of course Scotland, because we had the lifting there. The front was there, so that helped break the cap. The cap held strong across many other areas, although some big storms were seen across Wales, parts of Northern England, and the Irish Sea. I live in southeast Ireland, and I sort of missed out, but it just felt so hot, so sticky. I could feel the energy. It wanted to become thundery, but just the cap wouldn't break. That is an issue that a lot of areas in the south face a lot more than the north, just because they're further away from the lifting and the triggers. Right, so Tuesday, again, looks to be the case. Except maybe I might get lucky this time. Famous last words. And it stays bone dry across many areas of southern England. Unfortunately, now Wednesday, that low starts to pull away. That's the hook there. Starting to drift across Northern Ireland, Scotland, again, elsewhere, scattered showers. And into Wednesday, this whole batch clears away. It clears away the heat, the humidity, and the risk of storms and heavy rain. Some showers might push into East Anglia. Wouldn't really bet on that yet. And into the end of the week, well, some more showery troughs of low pressure starts to run in from northwest. A bit of a change. Yesterday we were thinking high pressure might region, but today actually some models are showing a trough diving in, just sinking in there from northwest, and that will just keep the mixed weather going. So here's the temperature forecast from UKV. Again, today's temperatures are rising back again. So high 20s are possible, quite likely, across southern England, across Wales, northern England, Midlands, mid-20s, low 20s, Ireland's like high teens, low 20s, under the rain, under the cloud and a bit of rain. And Scotland's will be, as usual, a bit cooler. Into tonight, well, temperatures won't be as fresh as they were last night. That's quite clear. Especially across eastern England, it'll be quite humid as well. As the warm sector starts to move in, humidity does look quite high. So especially in the east, where temperatures are in the high teens, combined with dew points in mid-teens, will be quite muggy. I'm going here, temperature forecast. So into tomorrow, Monday. Tomorrow will be a hot day across central, southern and eastern Britain. Temperatures into possibly the mid-30s Celsius across London, home counties and Kent, maybe towards Cambridgeshire as well. Many areas of the Midlands and up into like Manchester, up and towards the northwest of England. Well, not really like Cumbria, but more towards like Manchester and Stoke-on-Trent, that area, low 30s. Wales and northern England, eastern England, more like mid-20s. Same goes for southwest England. Ireland's like low 20s, maybe locally mid-20s. Scotland's under the pouring rain, where the warm front won't really make its clearance. You're stuck in the low teens over high ground, mid-teens if you're lucky. And overnight on Monday, it will take a while to cool things down, and by cool things down, I mean temperatures staying in the high teens and low 20s. So some areas of southeast England, especially in London, will be seeing a tropical night where temperatures don't fall below 20 degrees as a minimum temperature. Across Ireland, it's also muggy, and Scotland, as usual, temperature's not as high. What a surprise. Dew points will be quite high, especially in the east and across Ireland as well. So actually in Ireland, temperatures almost matching dew point there. So and in some areas matching. So maybe some fog and it'll be quite muggy. So going to Tuesday, likely to see the heat starting to come down from its peak. So across East Anglia, still looking at low 30s, possibly across Cambridgeshire, Lincolnshire up towards South Yorkshire. Widely across southern England, Midlands of England towards northeast England, high 20s, mid-20s across Ireland, especially in the east, Wales, northern England, and low 20s there for Scotland, Northern Ireland, Western Ireland, northern Scotland, cooler with some cooler winds from the northwest starting to try and dig in. Dew points on Tuesday will be quite high in many areas. So, like, a narrow, less humid space there, but ultimately it would be quite a muggy day, I do believe, across many areas. Humidity, yeah, especially across parts of northwest and maybe also southeast. But regardless of humidity, with temperatures quite high, it will feel uncomfortable, and of course, the usual advice is recommended. As we go through into Wednesday, well, temperatures start to ease off. You can see Ireland, Scotland's waking up on Wednesday with some cooler temperatures in low teens. Meanwhile, staying warm, and yeah, it'd be quite muggy as well. And to Wednesday, temperatures are lower again. Top value likely to be 24 to 25 degrees, maybe an isolated 26 across East Anglia. Cooler for the west you go. And Wednesday night, Thursday morning, when all areas start fresher. And that is the end of this warmer and more humid spell. Thursday, very comfortable, low 20s, high teens, a bit chilly across Scotland maybe, and some more showers come through on Friday in that cool northwesterly airflow. So here's the GFS midnight run. So low pressure is trying to slowly chew its way into that block of high pressure. It does weaken it slightly, enough to move in, and the low tracked over Ireland and Scotland. So unfortunately with that, most of the rain and lifting will be over the west and north, much less getting into the southeast, let alone across France and Spain, where it will stay completely dry, apart from maybe one or two thunderstorms. And meanwhile, I must say that the heat is starting to transfer eastwards across Europe there. So for a while in July, I think many areas of the northeast of Europe stayed quite cool and showery and whatnot. Because we had high pressure over the west of Europe, that meant that jet stream went up like that and down across Scandinavia and the Baltic Sea, bringing the areas of low pressure around that way and cooler weather. But that's changed. The heat is now extending eastwards across Europe. Meanwhile, areas in the west are turning a bit cooler, more showery, with more areas of rain. So that is a bit of a change we're seeing across the continent, the pattern in general. Into the end of the week, so we thought that this area of high pressure would be more dominant, but not on the GFS today. We see this area of low pressure, that showery trough, starting to sink in slowly from northwest. So staying quite showery, quite mixed, quite cool into the end of the week and the weekends. Let's see what happens beyond that. So into mid-August, well, high pressure tries to origin there from the Azores, but low pressure is also over Scandinavia, blocking over Greenland, Iceland. That's quite an odd pattern, but we're trying to go drier and warmer here, but it is under strain. What happens beyond that? Well, by the 15th, we're going into low pressure and more mixed conditions. A bit unconvincing. I'm not sure what's going on there. So here's the rainfall forecast from the GFS run. So again, some rain in Scotland on the warm front there. That starts tomorrow at lunchtime, by the way, about 12 p.m, 1 p.m. Some more heavier downpours are waiting in the west. So Ireland sees some heavier showers. A lot of it is across Wales, Northern England, Scotland. A few showers getting across southeast England. But again, most of the dark echoes are again across the west and north, anywhere west and north of the Midlands, really, of England. Maybe some more rain later on in the week. But again, this like southeastern quadrant of England always missing out somehow. ECM. So once again, low pressure starts to drift up there from southwest, bringing northern and western areas that could soaking. Beyond that, we go into a cooler, more showery flow from the west and northwest. So that is a change from yesterday. This area of high pressure stays to the west, and instead things stay quite showery for Ireland and the UK. Going a bit warmer by the 10th, but that's only a transient high pressure. Low pressure looks more dominant here, especially northwest. In the southeast, I think still probably holding on to something drier and warmer, with that as the wind flips into the south. Maybe a bit showery there. Some thundery downpours might form. With that area of low pressure, I would not put any money still across the southeast. Let's see out of interest what that's showing. That is showing widespread rain on the 12th of August. If that came off, I think that might happen, but that's probably not going to come off. And then into mid-month, going more westerly, so staying quite mixed, quite changeable, unsettled. Most of the rain in the north, always drier in the south. Here's the rainfall forecast. So again, starting tomorrow at lunchtime, we see that one front in Scotland, so some rain there, quite steady. Meanwhile, some heavier downpours wait to our southwest, and really big torrential downpours there through Irish Sea, Ireland, North Wales, Northern England, Scotland there for a while. Some more downpours in Ireland there, some heavy rain for Scotland, really heavy rain. Northern England seeing showers as well. Very little further east and south. Wednesday might see some showers, even in the southeast, before that whole system starts to pull away to the east. But yeah, not very promising at all there. Here's the UK Met run. Again, deal is low pressure starting to move in. I think earlier, like towards the end of last week, that was meant to be like a more stretched out trough that went all the way from all the way out here out into like France and Channel and Europe, and that meant that the greatest risk of rain, showers, and storms would be in the south. The low has now trended northwards, so what once looks quite promising in the south has now just shifted and taking on a more typical, I suppose, track for an area of low pressure as we go into next week. So again, that low scoots off into Scandinavia by Thursday. High pressure a bit more influential for a time in the south, but still showery areas of low pressure coming in the flow. A lot of showers in the north, a bit drier in the south. And by next Sunday, we're drier and starting to try and warm things up as we change the wind into the southeast, but there's more low pressure waiting to the west, and that area of high pressure looks quite flimsy. Okay, UK Met Run, looking at the rainfall forecast. So again, these big blobs showing up across Ireland, Scotland, a few across Northern England, Midlands, Wales. If this loads, again, the website is a bit slow today, like it was yesterday. Yeah, so you can see a washout. that looks really, really wet across west and north. Very little. Minimal amounts getting into the south and southeast, unfortunately. So, excuse me, guys. And that's before more shower rain piles in. And either way, that's meant to be in the north. Okay, here's the GEM. GEM, once again, low pressure is trying to meander in from the west. It does so quite well. Actually deepens into quite a prominent feature there by Wednesday. And let's see what happens beyond that. So high pressure trying to keep things dry in the south as they have been for a long time, but low pressure and showers trying to feed in from the north. So again, north south split. North seeing showers, in the south drier and fair weather, and all areas I think temperatures about average to a bit below in the north, with that more northwesterly airflow around the low. It has gone slow, the website. It was fine earlier. It was less slow earlier. So we were on Saturday, weren't we? Yes, we were. So, and then into mid-August, maybe hints of another more prolonged spell of dry and warm weather, but that's a long way off. But given how the summer has played out so far, it wouldn't surprise me. So here's the rainfall forecast from GEM. Again, look at all that washout weather across Ireland, Wales, Northern England, Scotland. A few showers also getting a bit further east and south, but still avoiding that southeast corner. Still avoiding the areas south and east of Birmingham. And then, beyond that, well, the low clears away, pulling away any risk of rain. Icon, low pressure, once again, unfortunately centered across the west and the north. Even though in the southeast, yes, low pressure is dominant, lifting will be lacking in presence. Low pulls away, actually has quite a deep feature there, so gusty winds from the northwest on the back edge there across Ireland and parts of Wales, Northern England. Okay, so in the south it's quite dry and fine into the weekend, but I think all areas are actually going showery by next Saturday as that trough slides in. And what happens beyond that? Well, high pressure trying to ridge in by August 9th might bring some more prolonged dry weather. Again, icon showing the rain where we expect it to be, very little elsewhere, before it scoots away. And then finally the arpege, once again, low pressure trying to just track in, meander in, drag gradually. Quite a deep feature again on the arpege. That low is quite deep. What's the jet stream doing to it? Yeah, so jet stream is through the country, and the low moves onto the northern side of the jet, I'd assume. See that there. Low is in the north there, jets to the south. That helps to really rapidly deepen it. So like gusty northerly winds on the back edge of the low as it clears through Ireland and the UK. And beyond that, you can see what happens here. Thursday 6 a.m, briefly drier, but that's the next showery low trying to drop in. If it does drop in and sort of like hangs around the country, that will provide the energy for some convection into the weekend, even maybe in the south, if it sits over the country. If it goes to the north, well, then the shower risk is confined in the north. Arpege again, rain I think will be where you expect it to be, and quite heavy rain at that as well. And yeah, arpege is probably really keeping the rain up in the northwest. Very little across the southeastern Midlands there. So unfortunately, yeah, that's for now. That's that for now. So yeah, rain for the next few days in the west and north, dry in the east and south. A hot heat spike as well across central, southern and eastern England, especially tomorrow, and some quite humid nights. Beyond that, the low scoots off. I think Thursday, drier and brighter in many areas. Friday in the weekend, might see a showery trough drop through. So showers heaviest and most frequent in the north, could be some elsewhere. And towards the end of next weekend, well, high pressure might build in again. But that is very, very uncertain, given how I think high pressure was meant to build in towards the end of the week, but that was replaced by a showery trough. So these change day on day, a new feature's added or something doesn't go right, then the whole forecast chain of events is altered. So watch the space. We will keep a close eye on the models, of course. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Bye for now.